Hey everyone, Kelly Dean Allen here again. Today, going to show you guys how to play When I'm Gone by LA band Dirty Honey. Now, it was about 2 years ago and I'm driving in my car and this track comes on the radio and I was like, what the hell is this? You know, it sounded like it was straight out of the 1988 LA hard rock scene, yet I had never heard it before. And so why was it being played on my local classic rock radio station if it wasn't? That said, to be fair, they do play the odd modern rock track now and again just to mix things up a little bit. Was it a track by Tesla that I had never heard before? Because it certainly sounded like Tesla to my ear. All I knew was that I liked it a lot. Turned out, of course, to be Dirty Honey, a new LA rock band paying homage, I suppose, and bringing back that glorious late 80s hard rock sound. Would love nothing more than to see this type of music come roaring back into the mainstream, because this is some really good, kick-ass, guitar-driven rock and roll. And with that said, let's close it a little bit on the fretboard here and learn how to play it, yeah? Alright then, When I'm Gone and LA band Dirty Honey. We are tuned down 1/2 step for this tutorial, so here's your tuning. Now this track has just a great opening riff, really like this. And we're going to be repeating that little riff progression 6 times at the beginning of this track. Twice before the vocals come in, and then 4 more times during the first verse. So we're striking an A power chord, a quick little down up, right? Then you're going to grab the 3rd fret of the low E, pull it off to 2, hammer it back onto 3, and right back to an A power chord. And then we're going to repeat that, but before we do, we're going to kickstart it with a quick little down up down mute. Then we're going to drop into this chord right here, which is an F sharp minor flat 6th. It's basically a D chord, open D, 2nd fret of the G, 3rd fret of the B, not touching upon the high E string, with this F sharp note in the roots, muting the A string in between with the pad of your index finger, which is sitting on that 2, right? So all you're hearing is the low E string, the open D, 2nd fret of the G, and the 3rd fret of the B. So we're going to strike that chord and then immediately move it into G. Now this G chord is a G5 chord basically. We're not touching upon the high E string and we're muting the A string with the pad of our middle finger, which is sitting on that 3. So it's all G's and D's, right? G, D, G, D. So we're going to go from that F sharp minor right into the G, right back into the riff again. And like I said, you repeat that 6 times at the beginning of this track, leading into the chorus, coming out of that final G, right? When we go from that F sharp minor into the G, you're just going to grab that note on the 3rd fret after striking the G chord and then just ride it off to open E. Grab the 2 and then off to open. Right into an E major chord. And then we're going to drop right back into G and strike it 5 times, kind of like this. And then we drop into the chorus. So that is the opening riff. And then we drop into the chorus. And then back into the main riff. So the chords we're using here for the chorus: A, G, D, back to G, ba, 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 ba. So before going back to A for the second half of the chorus, quick little ba, 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 ba from G to D, right? Ba, 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 A. Then we're going to drop into that F sharp minor, and we're going to arpeggiate the notes out of it. Right, starting on the low E, string skip down to the G string, and then just ride down to the high E and back up again. Back into G, let it ring, down to D, and then back into A for the main riff. Right, so that is the chorus. A, into G, down to D, back to G, G, D, A, F sharp minor, arpeggiate the notes, G, D, back into the main riff. Right, now we're into the second verse. Same as the first verse, second chorus, same as the first chorus, and then we drop into the bridge before the solo. And we're going to repeat that twice. So open E twice, 5 onto 7 of the low E, and then roll down to the 7 of the A string. Roll back up to the 7 of the low E, and then off to 5 of the A. And then 7, 5, back onto a 7 of the A. And we're going to kind of repeat that. But to finish it, you're going to roll from the 7 of the low E down to the 7 of the A, off to the 3rd fret. So kind of like this. Bum, bum. Right, and you repeat that twice before the solo kicks in. And then we're into the solo. So that's pretty much the solo right there. Starting with the unison bends here on the 12 of the high E and the 15 of the B. Right, back it up 2 spots, back it up 1 spot. Now move into the E minor pentatonic position here. 14 of the G and the 12 of the B. And you're going to do 2 there, so. And then you're going to drop the second bend off to a double stop here on the 12s of the G and the B, and then drop onto 14 of the D. And then we're into this. Double stop work, 12, G and B, 14, double stop, 12, 14, back to 12. And then we're into this little lick. (14) off to 12 of the D, 14 slide back to 12 of the A, and then finish that little progression like that. Just a little back and forth here on the 10s and 12s of the A and the low E, right? And then sliding that back to 3. And that's the first half of the solo. Now we're going to pull that off to open, go right back into more unison bends. Same as before, except when we get back to this one, on the 9 and the 12, we're going to do a little double pump. Kind of like that, right? And then back into this one again. and we're going to play a little different lick. So we're going to bend that 14 with our 15 on the B string. A little lick like that, right? Off to 12 and then finishing on the 14. Something like that. And then we're into this quick little repeating lick. So we're going to repeat that 4 times. Basic blues lick, like bending this 15 down to the 12 of the high E, pulling 15 back off to 12, 14 of the G back to 12 of the B, and repeat 4 times, right? And then the final time you're going to pull that 14 off to 12 of the G, right into a full step bend on that 15, right? Finishing the solo with this. Just hammering on 12 to 15 of the B. Same thing on the E string. 2 full step bends on that 15. So that's the second half of the solo. So, the entire solo. Right, and we're right back into another chorus, and we're going to skip the A power chord. It's just a bit of silence, a drum fill. He starts singing the first line of the chorus, which would be over this A, but we're going to skip that, right? We're going to drop right into G. D, back to G. Ba-ba, ba-ba. Now we go back to A, and then into that F sharp minor, right? G, D, and then we're back into a variation on the main riff for the outro of the track. You know, kind of like that. So we're going to play the same thing. Right, that A to the pull off from 3 to 2, back on to 3, back off to the A power chord, right? But we're immediately going to go back onto that 3, and then we're going to do quick A power chords back to that 3 times. Kind of like that, right? And then just repeat. And then back into that F sharp minor, drop into G, and repeat. Right, and then finally just bum, 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 into an A power chord, end of track. And that is how you play When I'm Gone by Dirty Honey. Certainly hope you enjoyed the video and found it helpful. And if you did, please hit that like button right down there. Maybe drop me a subscribe if you haven't done that already, as that would be very kind. Hope you're well out there in your little guitar corner of the world, wherever that may find you. And we will see you next time, yeah? Cheers.